So alright guys, today we will see the custom user status in project system, right? I think we have talked about this while creating a project itself, just but we haven't used a custom project status yet because in this sandbox system there is nothing to be used, right? One second, CJ20 and yeah, we have to open a project. CI1, yeah, there is only one project created. Maybe after creating like custom user status we will create one more to see and to see how the user status are used and how they are effective and all. So this is like one very uh, we can say very oftenly used and almost everywhere used field or feature that is there in project system, which is user status, which are like uh, up to the organizations or businesses to decide how they want to build their status hierarchy, and uh, then like we can customize it and business can use it. So this is something that business uses very consciously because it also a very powerful thing to handle or monitor or to restrict the some of the access of the project system based on its status. So we'll see one by one, like in customizing, while customizing the user statuses, how and what capabilities we get out of this, right? So yeah, maybe first we'll create one profile or one custom user status in the sandbox system, and then assign it to our project profile and create one project to see and use it, right? So we'll go to SPRO 5. Project system is somewhere down. Yeah, project system. Uh, Under this, I believe in structures, operative structure, WBS. Yeah, WBS user status. Create status profile, and you can see like uh, these are some like this having a status like custom status or user status is not only used in project system but in many other sub modules also. If you can see like for maybe it's CRM related or sales order related, or could be even in your internal order you have a status profile or status management, right? uh, Real estate. So a lot of other sub modules where this can be used, right? And the same way we are going to use it in project system, right? So we'll just create freshly new one. mm, we'll give it user profile 2020 UP, something like this. 2020. So 2020 is a company code, so we are just following the same naming convention. Status profile and maintenance language is of course US. Yeah, here now we have to select the object type, and in object type we are going to select, so based on like to for what object you're creating this status profile, and once we do that, based on that, system gives us the option to further customize it, right? So you can see there are like so many options available as an object to create this status profile, and later on this can be used inside them, right? So for example, internal order, investment program, right? So all of these can have their own status profiles, but right now we are looking for WS element or project system or project, something like that. So I think, yeah, WS element, here we go. So we are going to check mark the WS element. Let's just see if there are anything related, starting with P as a project system. There will be a lot of P's. Project definition, right? So we are going to see this also. So there are like uh, Here also one project definition, not sure what is it, but let's just select it. Project template is something that we'll discuss in another video. But yeah, maybe we'll just have the CJ20 and screen open on the side, right? So when we open a project or when we look at a project hierarchy, uh, we have basically two aspects of the project. You can even call it one as like header part of the project and then lower being the line level details of the project. But yeah, the first header part is called as project definition, which also holds the org level key details about project, which will always be like will be a first node of any project. So first node of any project will represent or will be called as project definition. Yeah. So you see, this is the hierarchy of the project, and these are the lower level nodes. So the first node is something which will always be called as project definition. Okay. So this part of the data is called as project definition, or project definition holds this all data, and the lower part will be called as WBS elements, right? You can see here it is showing as first level, it is showing as project definition, and as soon as you go below that, it calls them as WBS element. So all of these below level uh, hierarchy or below level nodes are called will be called as WBS elements, and out of this some will just be a grouping nodes or uh, higher nodes in the hierarchy. So for example, this furniture is just a WBS element which holds the lower level of WBS. So what does it mean? It doesn't have an actual assignment element check marked here, which means we can't use this WBS element in posting any accounting transaction or anything. We can't post any cost to this WBS basically. Only we can assign or use it as a account assignment object whenever the checkbox is check marked. So you always check this box to the lowest level of WBS element to make sure upper levels of the WS elements re- just being there for reporting purpose. And we'll save this into our TR. Now we'll come back. We'll again double click on it. So what happens when we select the object type? We'll see what is the importance of this. But now we can start building our status structure or status hierarchy, right? So first column is for status numbers. So we can say like for 10, 20, 30, 40, like that, right? So that means we are basically giving the numbers to our statuses, right? So here we will just assign some status, like we will go one by one. So let's just say when we create a project, we want a project to be in certain status, which is like, for example, created, or it it's not yet approved or not yet ready, something like that, right? It's just the master data that we have created. So for example, we'll call it as ZZ1, that status, and then we will say it's going to be my initial status. That means whenever I create a project, this status by default appears in my project. And to this status, maybe we can call it as not ready, right? So that means whenever people will see this status, they should understand the project is not ready yet, right? Low status number, high status number, these we will use in further. So this will make sure that we when users are switching status from one status to another, system should understand, or system should limit that status improvement from at one status to another status only, right? So for example, here we are going to give highest status number as 20. Specify the lowest and highest status number. Acha. So now it's just giving us the error for all the one. But yeah, we can do that. Uh, so what does it mean? Like whenever I am on this status, system can only allow user to change it to status number 20, which is immediately next one. That means Whenever project is in ZZ1 status, system should, if user try to like directly switch it from status ZZ1 to the status of 30, system should not allow it. Highest number of status should only be 20, right? Yeah, authorization object and all these things, you can assign it to make sure that whoever is changing the status is under that authorization code if required at all. But yeah, no, I haven't seen be, the it being controlled with the security authorization rules. But yeah, the option is there. The next one we can say ZRL, which will be kind of ready to release, right? Ready to release. And for this we will say minimum status as 20 and highest as 30. So here we will say like ready to release means now system should or users should be allowed to release the project, right? And this one we will say ZOP is like, let's just call it at open, which means project is now open for spending and actual expenses and all, right? Let's call that as 30 to 40. And the 41, which we will say, just say ZHL, which will give as hold, which means like if you want to put a project on hold when while it's open, uh, we we can do that, right? So let's just do it like this. Just press one step back first. Yeah. So for example, now we have this. Okay, why it's not going into cap? ZRL, ZOP, ZHL, right? Let's just save this for a moment. Yeah, so now we have the status hierarchy ready. Of course this has to be like very briefly discussed with business and all such things, but nonetheless, when we have the uh, things ready, this is how we define the statuses and how we control how it's gonna be doing, working out, right? When we assign it to a project profile. So now we have a initial status as not ready. Then what we can do is we can assign it uh, some level of actions to this status, like what kind of actions are allowed under that project when this status is active and what kind of actions are not allowed when this status is active. So to decide that, we will just double click on this, and here we will select new entries. So now you can see we have like, based on what objects we had selected, if you remember, in object type we went and we check mark project definition and WBS element. Based on that, system is going to give us the actions that we can control through these statuses now, right? So for example, assign PS text. So should user be allowed to assign PS text or not? We'll just go down budget release. So here, so budget release. Can somebody release a budget? Can somebody do a return, budget return, supplement return, and all those things, right? So at this status, let's just say we will say budget release is forbidden, budget return is forbidden, budget supplement is forbidden, right? Budgeting itself is forbidden because this is very initial state of uh, status, so we don't want to give too much flexibility to anybody. So like goods movement is forbidden, right? Yes, the release is forbidden, and partial release is forbidden. So there are like basically tons of options that one has to discuss with the business and decide on how to go and do all of these things, right? So if we double click, we can now see all these actions are forbidden when the status is ZZ1, which is not ready. But when status goes to, let's say, ready to release, we are going to allow some of the actions, right? We are going to say budget release is allowed, budget return, budget supplement is allowed, budgeting is allowed, right? But we are still going to, let's say release is also going to be, but we are still going to do goods movement as forbidden. So we don't want any kind of goods movement happening, even it just ready to release, right? So when it's ready to release, we are going to say like release is allowed, right? So this is what we are going to do. Just press enter, come back, and then when project is open, let's just say we want to allow everything to happen, right? So for in that case, what we can do is like, let's keep it the open status, let's not influence anything, let's keep that as it is. But when it's on hold, we again would like to forbid the activities, right? When the project is hold, let's just say release is forbidden but return is allowed, supplement is forbidden, right? So based on budgeting, let's say no influence because we wanted to have return as allowed, close is allowed, we would like to, if anybody want to close the project, goods movement is going to be forbidden. So no kind of goods movement will happen to the project if it's on the status of hold. Just come back, yeah. So it's kind of feel like our project profile is ready, status profile is ready with the custom statuses. So you can define n number of statuses like this based on different business uh, requirements. You can uh, make use of make most of its use based on like controlling the business transactions based on status, right? So there are like usually you will see uh, 10 or 12 user statuses defined in any particular system for project system, and it all have different purposes, right? So but yeah, for now we will just, let's just say we have created these many. Now the next step of activity is like we have to assign the status profile to our project profile in order to reflect the statuses in our project, right? So now OPSA is a T code that will take us to the project profile, and 2020 CAP is something that we had created. Come down here, and these are the ones we are going to change it with 2020 PS, right? Yeah, and now let's go on to create a project, new project basically, because existing project will not reflect these changes. So for creating a new project, we are going to say copy a project, C hyphen, yeah, 001 is the existing one, just change it to 002. Description and all those things will keep it blank, and here we will give the template that we want. So standard project profile, standard project definition uh, will be coming through CJ91 template. But if you just want to copy from another project, you have to insert the project number here. But if you want to copy from existing template, then you need to insert template over here, right? So right now we haven't created any template for us yet. So we are just going to copy from our existing project. So what and all information you want to copy and all, you can just select it over here and just press enter. And you can see the entire hierarchy is copied with the project definition as 2. So user status, nothing is appearing yet. Let's just click control, and yeah, in control we have this, and here we do see WBS status profile is appearing as PS002, which is not exactly what we had updated over here. So what did happen? Okay, it could be because we had copied it from the existing project, and but nonetheless we can just update directly over here. This, right? What else? WS status profile change. We'll go to the basic data. We'll just check once here also if does status profile follow here. I don't think so. Okay, so for now let's just try to save this, and let's see if it is working. Open it again. Yeah, user status we are still seeing as 0. I mean still seeing at no values. See here, status profile is still updating as, yeah, now you can see once we change it, it's updating, right? Z001. We do same thing. So if we do it on project definition level, what does happen? So it just not updating on the entire level, right? So nonetheless, just update it manually for now. Yeah, okay, maybe this is enough for now. I'll just try to save it. Open it again. Yeah, now you see we have our project in ZZ1 status. Let me just try to do a thing and try to release this project. You see, I'm getting an error immediately. Earlier, when we did the same information, we didn't get that right. So it is giving an error saying that user status ZZ1 is active in these many WBS elements. And whenever it is active, we have said that forbidden the release of the project, and so that it is not letting us release the project. So what we'll do, we'll just come again now and change this user status from ZZ1 to something else, right? Let me just go over here, go to the statuses again, user status, and I'll say set and pass on. So when I say set and pass on, it means it will set on this level and pass on to all the lower level WS element also the same action. If I just say set, it is only going to set the status on the project definition level. Then I have to again go manually into each WS element and do the same activity. So that I'll do this, and the problem with this now, in this sandbox system, this F4 doesn't work, unfortunately. So what was the next status? ZRL, I guess, which was like ZRL, and ZRL, and it found one, right? One entry. So if I press enter here, double click, enter, okay, it's not working. But this is how you do it. Uh, anyway, we can go over here and I can just select this and then just come back, and it's now ZRL and I can save it. Okay, but it's not the efficient way or the way we should do it. So now it's in ZRL, so release will be allowed and budgeting will be allowed on this. I think here is still Z11, right? So yeah, But this is how it works. This is how it works, and this is how we should use the statuses, right? So it will go from ZRL. Okay, let's just try this from ZRL. I'm trying to go to ZHL. Yeah, it will not allow me because we have said from ZRL you are only allowed to go to ZOP and not directly to the ZHL, right? So yeah, all the setup that we did is working perfectly with its own validation, and I think I think we have discussed uh, pretty much in so much of detail of this user status. So you can not even use it to the project system, but to any other object type that comes in around, you can use the same set of customization and configure the user statuses, right? So right, in the coming videos, we will discuss about using the validation and substitution in the project system, how the project settlement works, how does the project system is assigned to the asset accounting, how does the investment measure works, how does AUCs get created automatically from the projects as soon as we release them. All the setup customization, we will look at uh, in-depth details of it, and we'll discuss is we'll test it out each of these things. So stay tuned for the upcoming videos.